And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Korean StarCraft League, week number 48. I'm of course Hupsaiya VIP. With me, I'm joined by the people in the chat, by my plushies, and by these amazing players as well. I am finally here. I'm excited to cast the KSL live for the first time in months, by the way. It's been far too long. As I have been traveling in Europe, I have been unable to cast this live. I've been going for a replay cast instead, but now we are finally back live with the Korean StarCraft League. It is good to be back, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our South Korean Terran player living in the land of Japan. It is HonMonO. Representing Team Hyper 1, and spawning in the top left hand corner as I quickly try to sort out the colors here. In the top left hand corner, we have the green Protoss player from the land of the Americas, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the Americas, not quite Canada. We have the green Protoss. It is Hupsaiya for Slicestream Gaming. Just double checking. There we go. From the Americas. And here we go. We are diving into our PvT. We do apologize for the late start, but the start was a little bit delayed to begin with, so we need a little bit more time for our players to get together. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We have quite a lot of matches that are underway. Quite a lot of high quality players as well, as you can imagine. We have players like Dark, Cure, and Classic waiting in the next round. And we have others like Oliveira, Nightmare, Cyan, Rebellion, and these two here facing off to phase 2, try to get the luxury of facing off against them in that next round as well. We are missing a couple of players, to be fair, but I do think a big reason for that is just because of how intense these past couple of weeks have been. Just event after event, GSL, WTL, alongside EPT Spring. There's been a lot going on here, and because of that, we're missing some of our regulars. I'm referring specifically about Hero. Hero is not here. Byun is MIA as well, to name a couple. A lot of the Zerg players like Shin, like Sola, like Dongregyu. So yeah, this week is going to be a bit of a lighter turnout here from some players, but we still have the quality. We still have the quality here, still have some key big names to try to vie for that championship, to try to vie for that #1 spot. If you're curious, the KSL is no longer a weekly tournament. It is a bi-weekly tournament instead. Every 2 weeks, we do have a Korean StarCraft League. So if you want to support this tournament, if you want to help this tournament become a weekly once again, you can do so via the Patreon. Patreon is the place to do it. Do consider it. Do consider supporting. I believe the command is !KSL. !KSL in the chat. Beautiful. Do love to see it. As we do get a pylon here in the main base, it is going to delay the add-ons here of HonMonO. The pylon is going to be going down, and we do manage to get into our 1-1-1 setup. Again, it was a more aggressive build here, going for the faster factory into that CC on the low ground, and now we do have an abundance of Hellion Reaper, at least in the early game, to be active on the map. Meanwhile, across the map, we do have Hupsaiya getting into his own setup here. We have a Stargate, we have Oracle production well underway here for our Protoss player. Oracle, not Phoenixes, not yet, as he's more concerned with getting economic damage done across the map. So HonMonO, he is going to be threading that natural. Hellion is going to be going down. Does do that. A Hellion, Reapers there, denied entry to the main as well. Good cleanup so far here out of Hupsaiya. Gets a Hellion, gets a Reaper, forces it back. HonMonO does get eyes on that. I was going to say Cyclone. Does get eyes on that Oracle. And as a result, he can make a Cyclone defensively back at home. Oh, but he's going for tank production already. He's going for the Viking. Is it going for the Viking instead? And Hupsaiya, after cleaning up a lot of those Reapers and Hellions, he does have quite a force to work with. We do have that tank. And I'm saying threaten that mineral line. They get one SCV. Oh. Hey, almost get a second. Not quite. There we go. 2 SCVs are going to be going down. At the same time, the Oracle does not go into the main base. I was waiting for the 1-2 punch. Honestly, the main base was quite vulnerable, but the Oracle did stay back. Oracle was lying back instead. And HonMonO is going to be able to is going to be able to slip in. Oh, the Reaper takes a lot of hits. Does take a lot of hits there. Hellion likewise diving in. We get 3 probe kills. Pretty good damage, and we get a full scout of the main base. We get confirmation that we are indeed making Phoenixes. And with that, we are going to be pulling the boys, as we usually do here. HonMonO, he thrives on 2-base play. It isn't a TvP without HonMonO pulling the boys at some point here in his games. Workers are being pulled. We do have a massive amount of Phoenixes. Do we have enough to do with the tanks? As we catch an Oracle. Oracle goes down. HonMonO pushing towards that base. Does force a cancel, but can we hold on to the natural? We do have a shield battery. We do have an Immortal. The Immortal comes out just in time. The tanks, they are within range. We get some tank shots off. The Immortal taking a lot of hits. It does take some hull damage, and this Robo, it's so exposed, it's going to be going down. The Robo will fall. Phoenixes, they have to try to dive in, but alas, it's too little too late. The Robo is not saved. And now you can see the tanks slowly leapfrogging forward. We're now within range of the gateway. Overcharge has been spent. A bit of a wasted overcharge there. The gateway goes down. Now we try to commit. The Phoenixes, the tanks, they cannot. They cannot get close. Too many Marines and mules are being thrown down. Oh, the talent, true, Bobby, true. As I can get into some of this once the game does wrap up. Honorable, Bobby, honorable. As HonMonO does take game number 1. GG. Again, the 2-base push did snowball out of control. And in the lead up to this game, there were some words thrown around. Again, Hupsaiya, he's known for being quite BM. He is known for his attitude, and he was throwing shade at HonMonO as they were trying to conduct their vetoes. That was quite a lot. It was quite a lot of words exchanged between HonMonO and Hupsaiya. I mean, as to be expected. I don't know if there's anyone that Hupsaiya doesn't get on the bad side of. But yeah, there were some words exchanged, and yeah, Hupsaiya not too happy about the outcome of that game. But now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. The mana mules were very much so intentional there from HonMonO. Those are curious. Hupsaiya was calling HonMonO a dog eater, and yeah, they were exchanging words. Aye. And now we're getting into game number 2. Getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Hyper 1, leading the series 1-0 and is 1 game off from advancing on into the next round. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the American Protoss, the green Protoss player representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is Hupsaiya. I'll fix up the names. HonMonO is the resident Terran ape. True. HonMonO, he is known for being, I mean, I always call him the biggest cheeser in all of South Korea. True. Not wrong, Bobby, not wrong. HonMonO, he's very aggressive, especially in TvP, especially in this matchup. It isn't a HonMonO game if he doesn't go all in some way. Whether it's a 1-base all-in, a 2-base all-in, proxies, like that is what he is known for. HonMonO does have a reputation. I think what's impressive is even with that reputation, we've seen HonMonO take down some top Europeans like Geralt, like Christianer in best of 3s and best of 5s, even though they know his style. That's what I love about some of our tournaments like Sparkling Tuna Cup, is we're able to kind of introduce multiple regions to each other, and they get familiar with each other as well, and yeah, some metagaming can occur as a result, as we have seen players adjust here with their approach to HonMonO. I'm sure Hupsaiya is quite familiar with him as well. I know he's a very active player on the NA region, on the NA ladder. I think S2C needs something like this, though. I think like this is the key word there. I think people always like a quote-unquote villain, but there's like a difference, right? Like Peak Dark, for example. Like Peak Dark is he wasn't necessarily disrespectful. Like he wouldn't, like, I don't know, like curse at people or curse at players or anything like that. But if you remember, especially like Heart of the Swarm into early Legacy of the Void, Dark was very cocky. Dark was very very confident, and he would say things like, you know, he wasn't afraid of any like foreign players or stuff like that, right? It's like that's the kind of stuff that he would say, and he'd have like the skills to back it up as well, you know. And there'd be like that kind of rivalry going on, right? It's like, you know, can any of the foreigners ever like bring Dark down and stuff like that? Like that'd be a lot of fun. Dream was very similar. I remember, I don't know what it was about some of the SKT players, but Dream was very similar. Was also very confident. I remember he would say things like that in the GSL group selection. In the GSL group selection, you know, talking about like confidence and things of that nature. Then you have more of the extreme though. People like Hupsaiya or like Idra would be there as well. He was on the line, if not over the line, right? I think Dark was more along the lines of MC. Remember MC, where MC would also like talk trash, but also in a certain way, right? But here we go. We just see HonMonO opening up Reaper Hellion. Does open up Reaper Hellion. Is going to be able to shut down the Adepts as well. Ooh, breaking into the mineral lines here. We have a Phoenix to defend. What can it really do? What can the Phoenix really do? The boys are being pulled. Probes are going down. They're lining up. No. They're lining up, Poppy. 5, 6 probes going to be going down. 7 workers go down. And here, this time against the same opener, against the same build, Hupsaiya did not go for the Oracle. He unfortunately was caught out outside of his natural base. Adepts are falling, and probes have gone down. Oh, that's quite a lot of damage dealt here to Hupsaiya. Can he recover? Can he counterattack? I mean, he does have Phoenix's head for the main base. What do we have to defend? We have 1 Viking, no Cyclone. This is the same build, by the way, from HonMonO, 2 games in a row. Once again, going for early tank production. Once again, only 1 Viking. We're skipping Cyclones. And I imagine we're going for another 2 base push. I imagine this is going to be the same kind of overall goal here for HonMonO, 2 games in a row. We'll see if that's the case. We'll see if he does pull the boys again. We'll see if Hupsaiya can hold. The problem this time is that Hupsaiya has had a much rougher start to the game, losing a lot of workers already. He has retained his Phoenix count at least. That is true. It's going to be on Hupsaiya here to try to slow down the army, pick up a tank if at all possible, get some SCVs. Does get a mule. Does manage to get a mule here. And there we go. The boys are being pulled. It is the same build. 2 games in a row here by HonMonO. Doesn't feel like he has to adjust. And this time he may be able to snowball out of control. Last game was able to catch an Oracle immediately with this push. We are picking up reinforcements. Good moves here by Hupsaiya. But the main army, can it be dealt with? Back at it, we have 2 shield batteries. We have an overcharge. This is our Gateway army. We have 1 Adept, we have 1 Zealot. This time there is no Robo, there's no Immortal. Gateways are just now finishing. We need to warp in. And alas, we are caught with our pants down a little bit here. Overcharge is popped. Zealot goes down. We have plenty of Marines, plenty of anti-air. Shield battery is going to fall. And Hupsaiya doesn't have a lot of supply to work with either. Yeah, he's about to be supply blocked. The supply block is real. We throw down the Manor CC. Aye. Does throw it down. We clean up the ground army. Pieces, they're doing what they can. GG gets called, and HonMonO will take the series 2-0. GG, well played. GG. Again, the same build 2 games in a row, and Hupsaiya did have different approaches, to be fair, but to lose so many workers that early on was brutal. And with that, HonMonO will take the 2-0, will advance on into the next round. Just pull the boys, Papi. Just pull the boys. And with that, we are going to be getting ready here for our next series. We can actually have a look at the bracket. Let's go.